the silent voice that will change your destiny forever. Did you know there exists a voice within you that knows all the answers before you even formulate the questions? A voice that can predict danger, reveal your life purpose, and show you the path to genuine happiness, but which 99% of people completely ignore. In the next few minutes, you'll discover not only how to listen to this ancestral voice, but how to make it your personal guide 24 hours a day. I assure you that once you experience its power, you'll never again make an important decision without consulting it. But attention, this isn't common information. It's wisdom that great masters have guarded for millennia. Have you ever felt that gentle vibration within you? A silent knowledge that seemed to emerge from nowhere, delicately orienting you through a difficult moment, or alerting you with a serene sensation of absolute truth. Most people have experienced it at least once in their lives. However, in the clamor of daily life, among constant thoughts, overwhelming worries, and infinite distractions, that voice frequently fades into the background of our consciousness. But let me reveal something that will transform your perspective. That voice is not only real, but represents the purest manifestation of your essential being. It's not a product of your imagination. It's something infinitely grander. It's your higher self, the purest, wisest, and most luminous part of your existence. As the great yogi Paramhansa Yogananda taught, the soul, being the reflection of spirit, is eternally serene, peaceful, and filled with divine wisdom. That dimension of your being, your immortal soul, already possesses all the answers you're desperately seeking in the external world. It harbors unshakable peace, crystalline clarity, and the unconditional love that your heart yearns for with every beat. But the fundamental question arises: how do we establish that sacred connection? How do we distinguish its celestial voice from the deafening noise of your mind or from the emotional turbulence that shakes you? Through this transformative journey, we'll explore together that sacred connection that lies dormant within you. Using Yogananda's immortal teachings, I'll guide you with gentleness and simplicity in the art of listening to your inner guide, awakening your divine intuition, and living an existence perfectly aligned with your soul's sacred purpose. You don't need to retreat to a monastery in the Himalayas or climb sacred mountains. The golden door to your higher self already exists within you, waiting patiently and with infinite love for you to gently knock on its door. The divine nature of your essential being. What exactly is the higher self? It's a question that many spiritual seekers ask, frequently confusing it with the mind, personality, or even the voice of ordinary thoughts. But according to Paramhansa Yogananda's profound teachings, the higher self represents something infinitely more sacred and transcendent. It's your true self, your eternal soul, immaculate by fear, untouched by ego, and unaffected by the changing emotions of the material world. Yogananda expressed beautifully, the soul is individualized spirit. This means you are not simply a physical body, you are not only a thinking mind, and you are definitely not the temporary stories you carry in your memory. You are, in your deepest essence, a spark of the infinite, eternal, wise, and profoundly peaceful. Your higher self is that divine part of you that has never known fear, never felt lost, and never experienced confusion. It sees with absolute clarity. It knows who you really are and why you're here on this plane of existence. The reason we frequently don't feel connected to this inner guidance is not because it's absent, but because we are perpetually distracted. Imagine a crystalline and serene lake. When the surface is agitated by wind, you cannot contemplate your true reflection. But when the water quiets, the reflection appears naturally, clear and perfect. Your higher self always exists there, but it communicates in stillness. It dwells in silence, in pure love, in expanded consciousness. It doesn't desperately shout seeking attention. It waits gently with the infinite patience of true love. In the frantic race of modern life, we tend to identify with our surface, our social roles, our fleeting thoughts, our temporary successes, and our passing failures. But none of these masks represent who you truly are in your divine essence. The higher self is the eternal observer, contemplating, guiding, never judging harshly. When you establish connection with it, you experience a profound sensation of being at home, in the place where you've always belonged. There's no need to prove anything, to act, or to pursue external recognition. Only to remember. Only to return to your soul's home. The invisible chains of illusion. If the higher self resides eternally within us, eternal, wise, and loving, then why do we experience so much disconnection from it? Why do we feel lost, anxious, or confused, unable to hear that internal guidance we so desperately need? Paramhansa Yogananda explained this phenomenon through the millennial concept of Maya, the great cosmic illusion that makes us believe we are separated from divine spirit. Maya veils our spiritual perception, making the temporal world seem more real and substantial than our eternal soul. This powerful illusion directs our attention outward, toward incessant noise, material desires, infinite distractions, and constant doing, pulling us away from the silent truth that resides within. Imagine your soul as a radiant diamond covered by thick layers of worldly dust. The divine light has never disappeared. It's simply temporarily hidden. The more we pursue external things for validation or pleasure, social status, others' approval, material possessions, the more we become strangers to our own luminous spirit. From early childhood, we are conditioned to identify with the ego, which Yogananda defined as the soul identified with the physical body. We begin to erroneously believe that we are our name, our physical appearance, our temporary achievements, or even our emotional pain. But all that identification constitutes merely the surface of our being. Beneath these superficial layers lies a deep and immutable presence, our true spiritual treasure. The liberating truth is that you haven't lost your higher self. You've simply stopped listening to it attentively. The disconnection doesn't represent divine punishment. It's a sign that our attention has deviated from the sacred center. But the beautiful thing is that we can return at any moment. If you're feeling this truth resonate in your heart, I invite you to subscribe to the Divine Karma Path channel, where every week we share ancestral wisdom to awaken your consciousness and connect you with your divine purpose. Activate the bell to receive these transformative teachings directly. Right now, in this sacred instant, you can begin to direct your consciousness inward. You don't need to force or fight against anything. Simply quiet yourself. Simply observe gently. The soul never gets angry with you. It waits patiently for your return, like a loving father whose arms remain always open to receive you. The sacred art of inner silence. So, how do we really begin to listen to the voice of the higher self, that calm and guiding presence that resides within us? The answer, as Yogananda constantly reminded us, is found in sacred silence. In the contemporary world, true silence has become a precious rarity. Our minds are saturated with constant noise, thoughts, opinions, fears, and endless distractions. But your soul doesn't communicate through noise. It speaks in the divine language of stillness. Yogananda expressed beautifully, the soul loves to meditate, because in contact with spirit lies its greatest rejoicing. Meditation represents the sacred bridge between your everyday self and your higher self. When you sit quietly, close your eyes, and begin to withdraw your attention from the external world, even for just a few minutes, something magical transforms. The restless waves of the mind begin to calm naturally. You don't have to force absolutely anything. You don't need to seek mystical visions or immediate answers. Simply be in stillness. Simply breathe consciously. In that sacred space, something begins to emerge. It's not a voice like that of the thinking mind, but a palpable presence. A peaceful consciousness that feels familiar and at the same time deeply revealing. That is your higher self manifesting. It has been there eternally, waiting for your loving attention. Meditation doesn't consist of emptying the mind of all content. It's about resting in the consciousness that exists behind the thinking mind. Like tuning an old radio, when you adjust the dial to silence, you begin to hear the purest signal, the one that has been transmitting all the time. Make this a daily sacred practice. Even 5 or 10 minutes of stillness can begin to awaken your internal sensitivity. Over time, you'll notice a deeper clarity guiding you in daily life. A sensation of knowledge that doesn't come from mental logic, but from spiritual truth. Awakening intuitive wisdom. Once you begin to enter that sacred silence through meditation, you notice something beautiful and transformative. A silent internal knowledge begins to emerge from the depths of your being. This is divine intuition. As Paramhansa Yogananda taught with love, intuition is the soul's guide, which appears naturally in man during those instants when his mind is serene. Intuition is not a product of imagination. It's not the voice of fear or analytical thinking. It's the sacred language of the soul, a gentle impulse, a subtle sensation, a feeling of clarity that doesn't shout but simply exists. Unlike logical reasoning, intuition arrives complete, like a flash of understanding or sudden peace that envelopes a decision. It's calm, silent, and confident, never anxious or hurried. This is how you recognize it and distinguish it from other internal voices. We all possess this divine gift. But for most people, it lies dormant because we've spent years deliberately ignoring it. The materialist world teaches us to trust only what we can see, measure, and explain rationally. But your soul transcends limited logic. It communicates through deep feelings, internal resonance, that small, silent voice that says yes or no long before your mind tries to argue rationally. To strengthen this sacred ability, begin to observe your internal reactions with full attention. Notice how your body and heart feel when you face an important decision. Does the choice bring a sensation of calm expansion or tension and confusion? The soul will always guide you toward peace, love, and truth, even if the path is unknown and challenging. Practice the art of listening internally. Ask small questions to your inner being. Maintain loving patience with the answer. Don't expect specific words, expect a sensation, a vibration, silent knowledge. And above all, trust it fully. The more you listen to and honor this voice, the stronger its presence becomes in your life. Intuition is your compass on the spiritual journey. It's the way your higher self leads you back to your soul's home. Cultivating heart devotion. To truly connect with your higher self, it's not enough to simply sit in silence or passively wait for intuitive guidance. Like any meaningful and deep relationship, your connection with the soul must be nurtured with devotion, gentle, sincere, and full of heart. Paramhansa Yogananda frequently said, "Love is the silent conversation between two hearts." The more you direct your attention inward with genuine love, the more you awaken the living presence of your higher self. Begin to communicate with your soul as you would with a dear friend, with absolute honesty, reverence, and warmth of heart. Share your deepest fears, your sincere gratitude, your joys, and even your confusion. The soul listens without ever judging. It responds not with audible words, but with palpable presence. Through practices like heart prayer, sacred chanting, contemplative writing, or simply sitting with a hand over your heart, you begin to build an authentic relationship, one based not on dogmatic religion or empty ritual, but on pure love and divine remembrance. You don't need to be spiritually perfect. You only need to be sincere in your search. Even the smallest gesture of devotion opens the door to a deeper connection. Say internally, "I may have forgotten you, but you have never forgotten me." And then feel that gentle assurance rise within you, confirming that the higher self has always been near, silently waiting for your loving attention. Yogananda encouraged daily conversation with the divine, reminding us that God, or the soul, is not distant or separated from us. It resides within you, always listening with infinite patience. Devotion transforms a silent soul into a living and vibrant presence, bringing light to daily life. Once you begin to touch the presence of your higher self in silence and devotion, the next step is to bring that sacred connection to your daily life, moment by moment. It's not enough to find your soul only in morning meditation. Real transformation occurs when you begin to live from that space in your thoughts, words, and actions. Paramhansa Yogananda reminded us, the more you meditate, the more you will feel God's wonderful presence. You will carry that calm and joy with you wherever you go. That is the essence of true spirituality, not escaping from the world, but living in it with your soul's consciousness guiding you in every step. Begin with small but powerful subtle changes. Before reacting to a situation, take a sacred pause. Before speaking, breathe consciously. Before deciding, ask internally, what would my higher self choose in this moment? These sacred pauses reconnect you with your divine center. Over time, this way of living becomes natural and spontaneous. You begin to notice that your responses are more peaceful, your words more thoughtful, your presence more calming to others. You carry meditation's stillness to traffic, work, relationships, and everyday moments. You begin to radiate light even without speaking a word. That is the power of living in alignment with your soul. This isn't about being spiritually perfect. It's about being consciously present. The more frequently you return to your internal center during the day, the more your life becomes an extension of your spiritual practice. The fruits of divine connection. When you live consistently from connection with your higher self, certain natural fruits begin to manifest in your existence. First, you experience a deep peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This peace is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of something greater than any temporal problem. Second, you develop extraordinary mental clarity. Decisions that once caused you anxiety now become simple because you can clearly discern what is aligned with your higher truth and what is not. Your intuition becomes as reliable as an internal compass. Third, your relationships transform naturally. When you live from your divine center, you attract people who resonate with that higher frequency. Toxic relationships gradually dissolve, not through conflict, but through vibrational incompatibility. Fourth, you discover your life purpose with crystalline clarity. You no longer ask yourself, what am I here for? Because your soul shows you the way through synchronized opportunities, meaningful encounters, and an internal sensation of correct direction. Fifth, you develop natural compassion toward all beings. When you recognize your own divinity, you automatically recognize the same light in others, even when it's temporarily hidden by pain or confusion. Integrating wisdom into action. The true test of your spiritual connection is not how peaceful you feel during meditation, but how you respond to daily life's challenges. Can you maintain your center when someone criticizes you? Do you remain at peace when things don't go according to your plans? The practice of living from the higher self means bringing that elevated consciousness to every interaction, every decision, every moment of tension. When someone speaks to you with anger, instead of reacting defensively, you can pause and respond from your calm center. When you face a loss or failure, instead of sinking into despair, you can connect with your soul's broader perspective, which sees even challenges as opportunities for spiritual growth. This integration doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of remembering, again and again, returning to your center, choosing the elevated response over automatic reaction. Each time you choose peace over conflict, love over fear, you strengthen the muscle of your spiritual connection. Dear seeker, if you've come this far, take a moment to close your eyes and feel what is present within you right now. That silent sensation of peace, that calm consciousness, doesn't come from me or from this video. It's your own higher self, your own soul gently awakening to your loving attention. Always remember, your higher self is not something you must reach in a distant future. It's here, now, patiently waiting for your attention, your trust, your love. Every breath you take, every moment of silence, every act of kindness, all of these are opportunities to return to that sacred space within you. As Paramhansa Yogananda beautifully expressed, live silently in the moment and contemplate the beauty of all that surrounds you. The future will take care of itself. Allow these words to become your way of life. Stay connected, remain present, and when you forget, gently return to your soul's home. Your higher self will never abandon you. It will always guide you if you're willing to listen with your heart. The higher self is not a goal to achieve, it's a presence to live with. Every moment is a door to return to it. And when you live from that sacred space, life itself becomes a meditation, sacred, guided, and filled with divine peace. If this message has touched your heart, I invite you to like the video and subscribe to receive more soul-guided wisdom, inspired by the teachings of great masters. Your support helps this message reach more hearts like yours. And in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you will do today to reconnect with your higher self? Whether it's a few minutes of silence, a walk in nature, or a simple internal prayer, your words can inspire someone else on their spiritual journey too. Thank you for being here and for giving yourself the gift of internal consciousness. Until we meet again in silence and light, stay blessed, centered, and close to your immortal soul.